Hi everyone, this is Chris Green, the History Chap, and I just wanted to share with you some of the events that happened in British history, week commencing the 27th of September. Now, last week it was all sort of battles and bloodshed, so I thought I'd do something totally different this week. 28th of September, 1720, the South Sea bubble bursts. In a long line of get-rich-quick speculations, people flocked to buy shares in the South Sea Company after it proposed to sell slaves to the Spanish colonies in America and then use that money to finance or to buy back the British national debt from the government. I mean, a surefire winner, and you couldn't spot what was going to happen, could you? For the previous 12 months prior to September 1720, the share price of the South Sea Company rose tenfold, from £100 a share to £1,000 a share in 1720, before the bubble spectacularly burst on this day in 1720. Jonathan Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels, and the renowned scientist Sir Isaac Newton were among many who lost considerable fortunes from their speculation. Wide-scale corruption accompanied this speculation, including such upstanding public servants as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who was actually briefly imprisoned in the Tower of London, and the Postmaster General, two senior government positions. Unlike later financial crises, however, the South Sea bubble didn't actually impact on the wider economy of the country. But I guess it does stand as a symbol of what can happen when an unregulated market, con men and greed all come together. Same day, 28th of September, 1745, a few years later, God Save the King was sung for the first time. In the wake of Bonnie Prince Charlie's victory at Preston Pans, just outside Edinburgh, and his invasion of England, there was growing alarm that the Jacobite uprising might actually be successful. London was in a state of panic, with King George II even contemplating doing a runner to his Principality of Hanover in Germany, vacating the British throne. In response, on this evening in 1745, the band at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, performed God Save the King with the appropriate lyrics to huge acclaim. Other theatres took up the trend and suddenly it caught on, and it's the British national anthem to this day. Speaking of kings, 28th of September 1066, William the Conqueror lands in Sussex. Obviously he wasn't William the Conqueror at that stage, he was William Duke of Normandy. And he claimed that the previous King of England, Edward the Confessor, had promised him the throne. And he also claimed that the most powerful nobleman in England, Harold Godwinson, had sworn a holy oath to support William's claim. However, on Edward's death in January 1066, it was Harold who was proclaimed king and William left out in the cold. William was determined to seize the throne, and he landed his army in Sussex on this day in 1066. All he had to do was defeat King Harold in a battle, and the scene was set for the Battle of Hastings. And finally, 27th of September 1940, the Battle of Graveney Marsh. Whilst the Battle of Culloden with Bonnie Prince Charlie, who we talked about just a little while ago with God Save the King, is widely accepted as the last battle on British soil, some people beg to differ. It was at 3:45 p.m. on the 27th of September 1940, during the Battle of Britain in the Second World War. A German Junkers 88 bomber crash-landed on Graveney Marsh outside Whitstable in North Kent. It so happened that the 1st Battalion of the London Irish Rifles were stationed in a nearby pub, and so they actually came across the marsh to investigate, as only can happen in Britain. Their commanding officer, Captain John Cantifer, was expected back very soon to conduct a weapons inspection. You see how clean their rifles were? So they left all their rifles behind. After all, you know, this crashed aircraft stuck on the shores of the Thames estuary was hardly going to offer any resistance. Wrong! As they approached the downed bomber, a machine gun let rip and bullets whizzed all around the soldiers. Meanwhile, Captain Cantifer had arrived at the pub for the inspection, and he ordered the remaining men to grab all those rifles that were lined up beautifully for inspection and follow him towards the sound of the machine guns. Now, there seems to be some confusion as to whether the crew of the bomber were actually firing on the British troops, or they were just using the plane's machine gun to basically try and disable the aircraft. When the numerically superior British forces under Cantifer returned the fire on the Germans, the Germans waved a white cloth and surrendered, and the Battle of Graveney Marsh was all over. No deaths and only one injury, which was to the plane's commander, Fritz Ruland, who had taken a bullet to his foot. So hardly a battle like Culloden, but it was the last time that British troops were fired on home soil by an enemy army. The British took their prisoners, including the limping Ruland, to the pub, where in exchange for some Luftwaffe mementos, they bought their prisoners some beers in the best British tradition. And the pub is still down there by Graveney Marsh to this day. So I hope you enjoyed that. A few of the events have happened in British history from the long tapestry that's British history. So if you enjoyed that, then give me a like down below. Always nice to get a little pat on the head. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, or even better, why don't you sign up to thehistorychap.com, should be coming up here in a moment, where you can get these videos sent to your email every week so you never miss out and you build up a little bit more knowledge and tidbits of British history. Till next week, take care and I'll see you soon.